Christians are different from the world around us. Our friends, our family, our work colleagues, anyone who doesn't know Jesus is going to be living their life in a completely different way to those of us who do. And that can cause tension from time to time, and it can be really difficult to know how to engage well with the world around us. What are we supposed to do as Christians? Living for a different kingdom, the kingdom of heaven, Jesus says in Matthew 5. How do we engage with people who aren't part of that kingdom? What do we do? There are different thoughts on this, different ways of handling that tension. Sometimes Christians say, well, we're against the world around us. We need to call out sin. We need to try and stop people from doing awful stuff and make them do what God wants them to do. Then there are some Christians who go, no, actually, we just need to withdraw from the world. The world is awful. The world is evil. We need to stay with the people who are like us and hopefully not get contaminated and stay pure. And then there are some people who say, no, it's the opposite. We need to embrace the world. We need to be exactly like the world. We need to speak like them, live like them, just be like the people around us so that we can love them and share Jesus with them. But also sometimes we can just not have to deal with the challenges of being different and some of the tensions that come through that. There are good and bad in all of those approaches, and it can just be confusing because you're like, well, what am I supposed to do? Well, in Matthew 5, 13 to 16 that we've just read, Jesus really helps us because he gives us two images, two ideas that help us to think through how we engage with our family members, with our work colleagues, with our friends. Jesus says we are to be salt and we're to be light. Salt of the earth, light of the world. What he means by that, let's think about salt for a second. Salt in the ancient world was preservative. It stopped things from being corrupted and going rotten. And what Jesus is saying to us is our lives are supposed to stop society, culture around us going rotten and be preserving influences that bring flavour and bless those around us. And that's not just something that we do in church as we read the Bible or we say, hey, I'm praying for you, but it's also being salty in our workplace and in our friendship groups, in our families. We are blessing and loving people by living for kingdom values where God has us. And so we'll think a little bit about what that looks like for each of us tonight. And then Jesus also says we're not just salt, preserving the culture and stopping it from being as corrupt as it could be, but also we are to be light in the world. We are to reveal what the better way is. The picture there, the town on the hill that can't be hidden, or the lamp on the lampstand, this blazing light that shows where we are and where we need to go. And so that's what we are to be as Christians in the world. People should look at us and say, I want to be like that person. I want the joy that they have. I want to experience life and live life the way that they're living. What's going on there? The light is causing people to have questions and want to see and share in what we have. So light reveals, salt preserves. And Jesus also talks here about two challenges to making that happen. He says, salt can be corrupted. Our lives can be diluted by a whole bunch of other things around us that mean that we don't actually look salty at all. We don't have that preserving influence because we just look exactly like the world around us. And so Jesus says we need to watch out for that, because if salt loses its saltiness, its effect, then it's worthless. It's not good for anything. And light, well, light, the challenge there is that we don't conceal it. I think sometimes when you stand out and are different, it's scary, and we don't want to take the risk, because although some people might say, yeah, that looks great, other people might say, hey, I don't want any of that, and the opposition can come then. And so part of the challenge in being salt and being light is that we don't get corrupted, but also that we don't conceal our light and hide it away. And so again, we're going to think together in our groups this evening about how to do that, how to be salt and light in your sphere of influence this week. Have a great time, and look forward to seeing you again this coming Sunday.